Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Sundata TV. It's a very interesting discussion for you today. Some news we'd like to share with you and to help me with that task today, I'd like to introduce our two guests for today, more than guests, colleagues. Matthew Parker, who's my co-director at Sundata Proprietary Limited. And
hello.
Thank you, Matthew. And Peter Sanderson, who's Managing Director of Team Computing based in Sydney. Welcome, gents.
Hello.
Hello.
So today's episode, we've actually got a piece of news we'd like to share, which is of particular concern to consumers of IBM Power Systems technology in Australia and New Zealand. So it's primarily what were known as AIX or System I boxes or AS400, going back further. Maybe I'll just hand off to Peter to share the news for today, and then we can get into discussing what it means for our power customers. Peter, can I throw to you?
Absolutely. Thanks, Con. Well, the exciting news that we have is that Team Computing, which is my company, and the good folk at Sundata are merging. This will take effect from July the 1st, 2021. It's something we've actually been working on in the background for a long time, but the two companies will be acting as one. Our new name will be OneTeam IT, which reflects not only a little bit of each company coming into the merger, but also how we want to operate moving forward, both internally and with our customers. So it's exciting news, and we're looking forward to telling you a little bit more about that today.
Thanks, Peter. Appreciate that kickoff. Matthew, I know we've been working on this for quite a long time. Would you like to share some thoughts about what this means for our clients in this space of IBM Power technology?
Yes, thank you, Con. It's very exciting news. We've been a strong power supporter for probably 35 years. Since we started the business, and I know that Pete and his team at Team Computing have been in the same place. They're as old as we are, they're as experienced as we are, and they've got as many clients as we do in this space. And so bringing the two teams together makes a lot of sense, gives us a much broader and stronger coverage across the Eastern Seaboard, and really is exciting for the teams to have a greater pool of knowledge and resource as they go into the exciting projects we've got ahead. It's certainly allowing our reach into not only more regional spaces, but also larger enterprise to be strengthened. And I know the team are very excited about that. And so are our clients. The feedback we've had from the clients we've shared this news with is that they feel really comfortable and really excited about seeing the two organisations. Many of them have had associations with both of us over the years. So it's great news.
Thanks, Matthew. Peter, I'll come back to yourself now.
Sure.
Can you give us an insight into the sort of demands that our clients that depend on this technology platform are putting on us that help rationalise forming a bigger entity between the two of us?
Yeah, absolutely, Con. I think, look, it's no secret that the pace of business is getting faster, and as a result, many of our customers now have increasing demands on their technology and also the organisation supporting that technology. So what we've seen over the past few years is an increase in the number of customers who need that in-depth coverage, that full SLA-backed support, in a lot of cases on a 24/7 basis. And by joining these two companies together, we wind up with a much broader team with even more depth to continue supporting those customers. And as their demands increase, our capabilities will increase in line with that. And I think that's one of the key benefits that we're going to draw out of merging the two.
Yeah, thanks, Peter. I know we've seen that trend over the years that as consumers of the technology platform get larger, demands are more stringent, they're subject to more governance oversight. And certainly OneTeam IT, as we are going to form, will have in the region of 40 to 50 people between Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne and Perth. So I'm very confident that we're in a position that we've got the critical mass and the maturity to be able to look after clients that, you know, are turning over billions of dollars who might have thousands of users.
Absolutely.
So what do you think, Peter, just sticking with you for a moment, what do you think our particular strengths as OneTeam IT will be? You know, let's assume you're talking to a client. What are our particular strengths going to be?
Well, it's interesting. When I'm talking to clients, I like to feedback what our other clients say about us. And I think both organisations were very clear in our goal of providing a tier 1 level of capability with tier 2 flexibility and customer service. And that's really the feedback we get from a lot of our customers now. And we want to continue that. And we believe there's a real demand in the market for strong capability, but still having a human touch and having the ability to have a conversation with customers rather than respond with strict process every time.
Mm-hmm. And Matthew, have you seen that play out with the customers that you've engaged with? They're seeking to consume higher level of expertise, but maintaining that relationship and flexibility?
Yes, Connor, I think that's absolutely correct. We have a very strong relationship with our customers, and we work as an embedded consultant inside them. So what we've seen is that their requirement for security and deployment across the country, their requirements for growth, for redundancy and high availability, it's just become much more of a boardroom discussion than it was in the past. And that's enabled us to be a part of that discussion and grow with them as their needs change. But we're responsive. I think the fact that we're the size that we are means that we're very attentive to those customers who are our large-scale enterprise. And it allows us to bring that technology, that experience down to our mid-range clients and share that knowledge and experience that we've had with them. So there's a benefit right across the board with our client set as we grow and as the demands change for our large end clients.
Mm. I know,
can I ask you a question, Con?
Sure, go ahead.
Would you like to explain where the name OneTeam came from and why we brought that to the table? I think that's an interesting discussion.
Yeah, it's an interesting question. Obviously, we've seen some very notable new names in the market this year, like our friends at IBM Global Technology Services, who are going to be called Kyndryl. There's lots of other examples that you can find very easily. In our case, OneTeam IT was actually a working title for this project, which just reflected the objective that we had two companies who knew each other well, had good business relationship, but we wanted to work as a single entity, even though we were based in different states. And then when we looked into it more deeply, we actually also realised that it typified the way we work and we want to work with our clients. And that is, clients have business critical workloads and they depend on us to help them to manage and support those. And for these projects, we effectively deploy a virtual team. And that's across our business, across Team Computing's business and across the customer, and bringing into account other elements of the supply chain like key vendors like IBM. So OneTeam IT represents the fact that for a project or a client deliverable, we form a virtual team. Peter mentioned that we want to provide tier 1 service but with tier 2 flexibility. We specifically want to stay away from heavy siloed type organisation where clients are dealing with a large supplier and sometimes the left hand and the right hand from the supply chain don't know what's going on. So OneTeam is effectively the promise we've made to ourselves, to our staff and to our clients. And we really encourage our clients to hold us to account to that because that's really what we want to deliver. Thank you for the question, Matthew. That's a great question. It's nice to be asked a question for a change. So I've got another point here. I know the IBM Power Stack, it's a bit like IBM mainframes in that some parts of the community think that they've disappeared and they've gone the way of the dinosaur. And the reality is that a lot of organisations in Australia and New Zealand and around the world, these still run core workloads, whether you're talking about banks or credit unions or insurance companies at the top end, and down to small businesses that deploy an application that runs on Power. So one thing that we understand being inside that supply chain is that this product set has got a committed and funded roadmap that goes out another 10 years. So that's 2031 in today's terms. Maybe, Peter, you can, if I could ask you to talk about how that affects our building up of our skills, investing in skills, and how the bringing of the two companies together helps us build a more of a critical mass of knowledge to support customers for at least another 10 years with this platform.
Yeah, absolutely, Con. I think the answer is really in the question there. We're building up a pool of hard-to-get skills. A lot of our customers do find it difficult to maintain their skill sets, but for us, we have a critical mass. We have a large team of Power Systems people. And additionally, we're committed to this platform. For us, this is not a sideshow. We are not an organisation that has Power as an add-on. Power is a key part of what we do with our customers, and we are good at it. And I think by having that skill set and providing customers with the confidence to continue to invest in the platform, I think we've got a real, a really strong offering for those customers to help them continue to get the best out of the IBM Power platform.
Matthew, have you got any thoughts on that, on our investment in skills?
Yes, look, I think it's important to understand that we've been working with this platform of IBM's for over 30 years. And although we do have staff that have been with us for 25 years or more, it means that we've seen a lot of change. We've been through a lot of the processes. We understand a lot of the contacts and the support people within IBM. We have a lot of back channels where we can assist and facilitate things very quickly. And we've been through a lot of experiences where we've had to work fast on our feet and really resolve issues quickly to deliver results for clients. And that history that we have through the teams is a wealth of knowledge you just can't develop overnight. But as Pete is doing and we are doing, we've got some younger, sort of 30, 40-year-old people that we're training into this space, and they're keen to get involved in a larger corporate sort of enterprise system that has some great, I suppose, deployments across the world. There are hundreds of them in Australia and thousands of them in the US. And it's great to be working within a product brand that has such a history and such a coverage with some of the top 500 customers. They are great ERP systems. So,
thanks, Matthew. I know it's always a surprise to people that these power stacks don't sit in isolation, and they can actually connect to the rest of the world. I know that within Sundata, a lot of our work with Power customers revolves around integration with other elements of infrastructure, whether it's Wintel applications and databases or tools or middleware, or it's security implications, firewall, network, antivirus, all of that sort of thing. Peter, maybe I'll ask you to reflect, like looking at Sundata, what was it about Sundata that in that space, the non-power space, that gave you thoughts about good synergies for your customers at Team?
I think one of the things that's become very clear in the last few years is that there is no such thing as an island in IT anymore. There are no single systems that don't talk to other systems. It is incredibly rare to find anything that is not connected in some way or interfaced in some way to other systems. And we find in our Power Systems customers, there is a strong demand for people who understand not only the power side of the equation, but also the intel or the networking or the security side of things as well. And the team at Sundata have very deep skills in these areas, and in fact have helped us in numerous occasions in the past to provide those services to our customers. So for us, it's very important that our customers have coverage in those areas, and Sundata gives us the capability to provide that effectively in-house, which I think is a great broadening of the skill set of our team.
Mm-hmm. And Matthew, if I come back to yourself, looking at Peter's group, what was it about his team's expertise that excited you in terms of offering those skills to the Sundata customers?
Well, I think that Peter's got certainly some disciplines in AIX, which we don't have a strong portfolio in with our team. So bringing that into the fold for some of our power stack users that are in that space was very important. His depth of some of the availability solutions products, the mimics and products that help us to do replication and support, along with some of the IBM tools that help us to do the same thing, backup and recovery, BRMS, those sorts of skills just added to the team that we had. And I think the diversity of the clients that Peter's got helps us to see different types of manufacturing and environments where IBM has been so successful in placing equipment to support core customers.
Thanks, Matthew. I know one thing, I'll just sort of might summarise for the viewers that the portfolio that OneTeam IT will have after July 1, 2021, and guys can help me with this, but in essence, we have a focus on IBM Power technology, and that's clear from this conversation, which we offer both on-premise and also as a service, both infrastructure as a service for IBM Power, as well as managed services for IBM Power. And we know from long experience that one of the reasons that there is a little bit of a reputation for people getting off Power as a technology stack is they can't get the skills. So we're bringing a critical mass to market that will allow people who love either the application or the platform to continue to run that in a sustainable manner through consumption of our expertise. Peter, maybe you could outline the backup as a service portfolio that OneTeam IT will bring to market as well.
Yeah, sure. I think we've got something a little bit unique in that I don't believe there is a platform that we cannot back up. We have a variety of technologies that we use to back up customers, and it's becoming as old-fashioned as it sounds, backup is still the last line of defense against a lot of the malware that we're seeing in the market at the moment. And it's very important to get it right, because backup is not just backup. So the way we approach it is when we are asked to talk about backup, we start with the recovery. How are we going to recover this data? How are we going to recover the customer's information? And we can do that on any platform with any frequency. We can do it on-site, remote, replicated, with appliances or over the wire. So I think we've got possibly the most comprehensive offering in the market today.
That's fantastic. I know it might be contentious to say this, but in this era of cybercrime and ransomware, backup has all of a sudden become sexy. Who would have thought? And we are seeing clients with ransomware attacks, and they are turning to backup, and they're depending on backup for recovery in a way that we haven't, I don't know if I've seen in my whole career, the regular dependency on successful recovery. So backing up to a service provider with SLAs that can be held to account for is something that we're very happy to go forward with.
Absolutely. And we would know from the security practice that even the Australian Signals Directorate recommends that backup is one of the key essential 8 elements of security, and it's there front and centre, and everybody needs to take it very, very seriously. Yeah,
I agree. One of the other elements about security, and particularly with the Power platform, it's long had a reputation of being virus-proof, effectively bulletproof from a security point of view. However, I don't think anybody can really take that for granted in 2021. Matthew, talking about security, would you just like to outline some of the sorts of offerings that we provide to our clients in the security space that overlap with this area?
Certainly, thanks, Con. We certainly work right across the board, and as you described, the backup solution, we're working with all sorts of technologies and all sorts of platforms. But we certainly have got the ability to monitor and alert any instances that are occurring on systems. I think one of the things that is important about the synergy between the two businesses that we bring together some skills and some resource that Peter has in the 24/7 monitoring solution. So we've got eyes on screens, which is an excellent addition to some of the support we're doing in Brisbane. But we are doing some intrusion detection. We're doing pen testing with our clients. We're looking at the firewalling and security changes that people need to deploy to bolster and strengthen their first defence, which is that phishing and attacks directly to the networks. So our team certainly brings a group of highly specialised, highly skilled engineers into the fold, and will be able to provide those offerings to the whole client set that the OneTeam organisation will now be able to support.
Yeah, thanks, Matthew. I know we've seen recently something, again, it's not commonly understood, but anything up to about half the traffic coming through a firewall can be encrypted. And unless you've got a firewall that's capable of opening up those packets and inspecting the payload, you may well have half the traffic coming into your network not getting the benefit of the firewall levels of security. So that's the sort of insights that we find sometimes clients who are very good on one technology stack and not so good on another stack. And that's where a service provider that's trusted and dare I say, it works as a single team with the client can be beneficial. So, gentlemen, we're sort of coming to the end of our allotted time. Can I ask if you've got any concluding comments that you'd each like to say?
I think maybe one of the things that I didn't say earlier on in the piece was to sort of explain a little bit about why we chose each other as part of this merger process. And I was mulling this over prior to our call, and I wrote down one word, and I wrote down the word trust. And I think it's because we do trust each other as individuals. The two companies and our teams trust one another from both a technical and a personal level. And I think both of our customer sets trust us with some pretty critical jobs that they ask us to do for them, and pretty critical solutions to issues. And I think, we believe very strongly in trust as the foundation to every good partnership and every good team. And I think that's really our foundation block moving forward for the merger of the two entities.
Thanks, Peter.
Can I just add to that, Peter, I think the other thing that I've noticed as we've brought the two teams together is that there's a very strong cultural fit, that the way that we approach supporting our customers and put them as a priority is right across the board. There's no clash of ideals about how the customer fits into our portfolio, how important they are, and how they come first. And what amazes me is that I thought we had a very dedicated team of people that would get up in the middle of the night and be out on weekends and work through their lunch. But I've just, engaged with another group of 25 people that do exactly the same thing. And your team are just as committed to our clients and the work they do. It's just great to see two teams just fold in together and immediately start to share and trust, as you say, in the client sets that we've got. So it's just giving a great strength to the team.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, thanks, gents. Just to take on that comments about trust, in preparing for this integration, we've looked very carefully at some of the work that we can do to make sure we hit the ground running with an extended single team, and that we maintain and improve on the relationships we have with our customers. And as Peter said, it's not just a gut feel or a nebulous concept. Trust is a foundation stone for high-performing teams, and it leads to better communication, it leads to better collaboration, it leads to more creative solutions, and it leads to higher levels of accountability. So when we say we want to work as one team with our clients, that's what we're offering. Foundation of trust, communication, collaboration, creativity, and accountability for getting a result. So if you've watched this far and you have an interest in IBM Power technology or IBM solutions in general, or a service provider for security, backup as a service, managed services. That's effectively the promise that OneTeam IT is making to the Australian New Zealand market. So we hope that today you got something out of our session. We'd love your comments, we'd love your feedback, and we would certainly ask that you reach out to Matthew or Peter or myself if you'd like to continue this conversation and learn more about us one-on-one. Thank you very much for your attention, and thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Con.